Hello everyone. I'm sure that some of you, or maybe all of you, have met at least one person who is in an abusive relationship, but the person keeps finding it hard to leave the relationship. So today we're going to be going through the reasons as to why people find it hard to leave abusive relationships, so that you can be able to understand why you can't leave, or maybe you can be able to understand why the person you are urging to leave every now and then is finding it very hard to leave. So stay tuned. The first thing, they hope that the abuser will change. Most of the time, when people are in a relationship, they invest a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of emotions to be able to make that relationship work. So, when their partner begins to become abusive, they stay there hoping that one day their partner will be able to change, and in the end, their endurance will result into a long time of happiness. Secondly, they are afraid of the abuser. Most of the time, when someone is in an abusive relationship, they get scared because the abuser tends to use the forms of physical abuse that we discussed in our previous video. And when they use these forms of physical abuse, they make the abused person to feel more scared of leaving the relationship because the consequences are daunting. And this person prefers to stay in an abusive relationship and not leave their partner. Thirdly, the person who is being abused might be blaming themselves for everything that is happening. You know, most of the time, especially when in a relationship with someone who is a narcissist, they make everything seem like as if it's your fault. And every time when someone is blaming you for something, subconsciously, you might be able to accept that maybe I am wrong. Maybe I'm the one who is making this person to abuse me. And once you accept that, you find it hard to leave the relationship because you feel like you're the one who has wronged the abuser. But most of the time, this isn't true. Apart from that, the person who is being abused might want to protect their children. For example, if an abuser tells you that if you leave this relationship, I'm going to hurt the children. Most of the time, when someone abuses you, the first thing you'll think about, especially if you have children, is if you leave, then there'll be no one to be a punching bag. That means that the children are the ones who will be able to be victims of the abuse. So some people stay for the sake of their children to protect them. Most people really want to leave these abusive relationships, but they lack the resources to move out. And this happens especially in a case whereby the person who is being abused depends on the abuser, especially financially, and they don't have anywhere else to go. This makes them to be able to stay in that abusive relationship because they don't have anywhere else to go. And most of the time, when someone is abusing you, they isolate you from your family and friends. So that means you have no one, literally. The next point, the person might be wary of the social standing of their partner. This happens especially when they're, for example, the partner is a famous person, a celebrity or something, or a known person in the community, for example, a pastor. And every time when the partner thinks about leaving this relationship, the person might keep thinking about what will people think about my partner if I leave this relationship? Our social standing, people will judge us, and all those things. I always tend to say that the main reason as to why a person abuses you is so that he or she can lower your self-esteem. And once they lower your self-esteem, then you think that you're worthless. It also destroys your self-worth and your self-value. And when your self-worth or self-value is down, that means that you don't believe in yourself anymore. And that can make it really hard for you to leave an abusive relationship because you want to hear those words of appreciation or words of affirmation from the person who is your abusive partner. Next, a person might be embarrassed to admit the truth. Most of the time, people usually see that abuse is something that they should be afraid of speaking out about. And I remember that time when I was telling my story about when I was attacked. I now understand that the reason as to why I didn't share this with anyone, not even my family, was because of the fact that I felt embarrassed about it. And it's something normal. But people should come out and speak out when you are being abused. Our second last point is the person being abused might believe that they can save the abuser, because most of the time people think that the reason as to why someone is being abusive is because maybe you're not showing them enough love. and you think that if I love this person enough and show them that I care about them, maybe they'll stop abusing me. And that makes you stay there thinking that maybe if you love them enough and do everything that they want, you'll be able to save them from abusing you and save yourself in the process. But it doesn't work that way. Last but not least, people believe that abuse is common and acceptable, especially in most communities, which I will not mention. Some people believe that it's the role of maybe a man to beat up a woman if a woman misbehaves. And in some other communities, people believe that it's the role of a woman to discipline a man if the man misbehaves in the relationship. And this belief that abuse is something that is so common and it's something healthy in a relationship. When people argue, they need to fight. Drama is something that people accept and see like it's something that is actually needed to make a relationship spicy. In actual sense, that is one of the main things that makes people to stay in abusive relationships, the stereotype. I know that today I've been a little bit harsh, but I assure you that it was necessary so that I can be able to bring these points home. And I know that sometimes you just want to help someone leave an abusive relationship, but keep judging them, and you see like as if maybe they're not listening to your advice, or maybe they don't want to leave the relationship. But I need you to be somewhat understanding so that you can be able to help this other person. And if you're the person in an abusive relationship, then I'm sure that today I have been really, really on your side, because maybe one of these 12 points aligns with you and your situation. So as we continue with these episodes on physical abuse, I'll continue training you and helping you to be able to know how to walk out of these abusive relationships. Until next time, have a great day.